ahead. Okay. You guys see my screen okay?
Yes.
Okay, welcome to session 6 of Launched and Growing. As a reminder, my name is Emily Conroy, and I will be your facilitator tonight. And we'll kind of really focus on projections and planning tonight. But of course, these next 2 hours are yours. And so I also am here to help field any questions that you have with your business or chat about anything that you worked on since last time. And really just know that I'm here to support you tonight. So let's take a moment to get grounded in focusing on our session tonight. And so if you have a journal, pen and paper handy, or you just want to close your eyes and think about it in your head, I want you to think about what is the big, hairy, scary goal you have for your business. Now, Tina was the first student on tonight, and she was sharing some goals that she has, and they are big. And so don't worry about the logistics. This is just an exercise to dream for a little bit. So go ahead and write it out if you like, or just close your eyes and kind of think about it in your head. Okay. So in our last session, we talked a lot about the execution and worked in that execution area of your live plan account that focuses on marketing, pricing, sales, and operations. One of our senior business consultant has actually been reviewing the content within your live plan business plans. And so if you have some time, or maybe you received some emails, but if there's feedback for you, you'll see them in the comments section of your live plan account. But before we dive into the subject matter of tonight's session, does anyone have any questions or want to discuss anything around last session? All right. And of course, if anything does come up while we have time together tonight, drop it in the chat, unmute yourself, and we can discuss it. So our objectives for tonight are to understand how to create a projection, or sometimes you might hear the word forecast be used, of your business's future financial performance. A big reason why we focused on current state first And why Launched and Growing focuses on business owners who have been in operations for at least 6 or more months is because a projection is like, we're creating estimations around what we think our business can do logistically. The fun thing about projections is that you can have projections for a few different scenarios as well. You can take the history of how your business has performed financially and kind of create projections based off of your pricing strategy, maybe products and services that you're choosing to add or subtract, decreasing or increasing services, increasing, decreasing costs, right? You can also create projections for things that you kind of get to play with it. It's like creating different budgets. So you can say, right now I'll pick on Tina because Tina's on camera. So last session, Tina was saying something that I learned that was interesting is that kind of I'm like split 50-50 around the services that I have. And what you could do is kind of play with in a projection, like what would it look like if 90% of what I do is here and 10% is here, and you can kind of pick and choose different things. You can also work backwards. And what I mean by that is you have your number in mind. So say you want to generate $100,000 in revenue next year. You can kind of start with that and work backwards. How many of each service do I need to sell every single month in order to hit that? And what are my costs, right? So what sort of money do I need to bring in? How does that relate to my costs? So at the end of the year, I can go home with $100,000, right? So there's a lot of different ways that we can work on forecasts, and that's what we're going to spend the bulk of our time doing today is actually just like working on the forecast. So we have a lot of time. So I'm here to support and guide and give you any help that you need. And we'll be using LivePlan. I also have like a Google sheet that I can share with you too with some past clients to kind of show you how they started thinking about creating some projections for their businesses. So I kind of explained like what a projection is, and we're going to learn how to create it by doing it, but kind of curious for those who are in the class tonight, how many of you have created a projection for your business before?
I
I
have
have.
very minimally.
Is that everyone? Like everyone like unmuted at once? I couldn't tell if that was
I know
everyone.
me and Ariana
Okay,
responded. I don't know if they actually did.
okay. Thank you. Okay. So what kind of curious for those of you that have done a projection is why did you find or what did you learn in doing the projection, and why did you think it was useful, and if so, why?
It was it was useful to see the potential. I don't know that especially when I did the projection, had the drive to actually follow through with all that I needed to do in order to make that projection reality.
Mm-hmm.
It was just good to know that, um, and it helped me to almost kind of sift through what things make sense to really push and not push. When I was doing it, I went to a entrepreneur conference, so that was my first time actually playing around with LivePlan. And so that's where I was doing that. And it was interesting because I was putting in my different servicing and I was able to go back and see with the software how when I put in like my silk press and kind of did the projections for that, and then I put in like color or different things, how I was able to like work smarter, not harder for some things. It's just silk presses are easier to get for clients than a color because the color is a higher price service. And so that's where that disconnect was kind of coming in, where it's like I'm doing this projection, and if I push more color, then it's like more money, essentially less time. I just didn't have the follow through to like
Yeah.
try to really push it.
Yeah, I totally get that. And especially in early stage business, you know, there's a lot of like guest test and revise that happen. Um, and that's why too we find it, of course, you know, like if you're in a startup and you're looking to access business capital, um, banks, CDFIs like Women in Venture are going to require some financial projections and forecasting. But when it starts to actually be a more realistic roadmap is when you are in business, and it allows you to understand, um, you know, some decisions that you can make with your business by kind of playing around with those numbers of seeing like, okay, well, what if I just did away with this service? Or what, you know, what would happen if I was able to, you know, make 100 of these transactions in a year? What would that look like? And you get to run it through, you know, that annual scenario. It also helps you see perhaps what you could realistically be paying yourself as a salary. It helps you think about growth stage if hiring starts to be something that you want to do, and just a tool to strategize, you know, different scenarios of what could be. It's really also helpful in that growth phase when like you're butting up against like your own capacity. You know, as one human, you don't have infinite time. And so also kind of looking at your time audit and seeing like, okay, this service actually takes me a lot of time, and so maybe I want to decrease the amount of times I'm doing that, and just kind of lets you play with that. Um, and we're using our best estimates when creating financial projections. And so your best estimates are your financial documents that you already have within your business, and then also understanding kind of your the market in which you're working inside and your pricing strategy. I'm going to put an article in the chat um, for your reference as we work on projections tonight. And just this is something that you can bookmark as well to go back to. It's from LivePlan. And it just kind of illustrates a few different options around projections. So when we log off tonight, I just want you to have a resource to go back to as well. Of course, you can access information in our LMS. But LivePlan has a great help center. And so I want to make sure that I also leave you with their references around projections. And then there's one more. It's not working. Okay. I'll see if I can find that later. So why we forecast, or why we have this part of the curriculum for Launched and Growing, is that it's going to help us with our financial management, right? We have our current state of what our actuals are, so we know kind of what are the expenses of our business and what money is coming in. So in the simplest terms, we want to know the money we have on hand. We want to know what is the money coming in and how much money is going out. And we want to be as clear as we can be with those things. And then as we think about planning for the next year or the next quarter, having a forecast helps us just make better financial decisions. It helps us with strategic planning, right? Am I at a point where I can get a storefront or not? Am I at a point where I can hire an employee or not? And if not today, what would I need to do to get there? And then you're working a plan based off of those projections. It also can help you with performance evaluation. I think a lot of times as business owners, we get so busy working on the business, right? Like we're serving or in the business, excuse me, we're serving our clients. We're in our stores, we're traveling, we're doing the admin, but we're not evaluating closely. Am I hitting my benchmarks? Am I making the profit I want to be making? Am I sustainable? And so kind of knowing what your current state is and creating projections can again help motivate you and show you kind of that guide of, are you hitting the performance metrics that you want to as a business owner? Because really as a business owner, no one's coming to tell you like, hey, you're not performing at the level that we expect you to be. Like you're the one setting these goals. So you're also the one that has to hold yourself accountable. And the most transparent way you can do that is through really understanding your finances and your personal goals as a business owner. So let's kind of jump into it. Oh, I need that. I know, but then I can't see my stuff very good. Can you turn that on? Sorry, you guys. My lamp got shut off and I can't see without. I got a 6-year-old and a very fluffy cat hanging out with us tonight. So, okay. So if everyone goes into their live plan, I'm going to share my screen again so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay. So I would like you guys to go down to find the financial plan tab. And we're just going to look at your projected profit and loss. And so as of right now, my hope is that you have at least 2024 filled in. Does everyone have their revenue and their expenses plugged in for 2024 and know what those are?
I do, but it's still only pulling from my business account. I think I need to like manually add in my Square stuff, but I don't know how to.
Okay, when we get everyone kind of rolling on the work, let's pop in a breakout and we can pull up your live plan and look at it, figure it out.
Okay.
But Ashley and Aubriana, do you have your current state revenue and expenses plugged in?
I don't have mine's plugged in yet because mine's are on QuickBooks. So
And you weren't able to sync it?
no, I wasn't able to sync it.
That's weird. Okay.
And I didn't finish plugging it in.
Okay. So with that, I think then what we should do for those of you, well, actually this would be for everyone. Does everyone have access to their 2024 like revenue and expenses? Like, would you be able to access that to be able to plug it in? Because I'd like us to plug in current state
Yes.
first. Okay. So why don't we take, so if you go again, financial plan tab, we're gonna just start with that profit and loss. So, you can go ahead and you'll hit edit, you'll start typing in kind of those monthly, if you have it. I would love to see it broke out monthly because I think that again gives you a lot of us have like seasonality with our businesses, and so it's nice to see kind of like what months are bigger revenues, so then you can kind of plan to make, more investments and purchases those months, and when are lower revenue months, so then you can kind of tighten expenses and how that works. So go through and see if you can plug that in, and then Ashley, I'll jump into yours as well to see if there's anything I can see on my end of why your QuickBooks isn't connecting. Because technically, if QuickBooks is connected with LivePlan, it's supposed to be able to pull all of this information and auto-populate it all. But since it's not, I at least want kind of some general, so if you can get the type of, and you can categorize what sort of income you're bringing into versus a lump sum. I think the more detailed you can get, the better it's going to be as we evaluate the plan. Okay, I'll stop sharing. Okay. So I'll jump into Tina's first.
I think I got mines to connect,
Oh, yay.
actually. Yeah, so right now it just says it's loading.
Okay. I'm
Yep.
going to put Tina in a breakout room while you two keep working on the profit and loss for 2024, and then I'll pop back in and Ashley see if, and then we can connect. So let me see if
Okay.
I can do
Sounds good.
this. Okay, we got Tina's figured out. Ashley, how are you coming along?
I was able to connect mine, so I have actually it uploaded 2023, 2024, and then the live forecast for 2025. Are you able to see it on your end?
Yeah, in your dashboard. Is that
Mhm.
didn't look like it migrated into your plan. You're looking at the dashboard tab.
Yes, I am.
Okay. Doesn't look like the revenue came through. Are you seeing revenue on your end? I'm seeing expenses, but I'm not seeing revenue.
Yeah, I see it on my end. I see revenue. I see the profit and loss, revenue, direct costs, operating expenses, operating income, and I'm on the dashboard.
Okay, let's hop into a breakout room so I can see yours because I'm not seeing it on my end. So I want to just get a look.
Okay.
Okay, we're figuring things out. We're getting things connected. We're finding data.
I got a question. Are you able to in the chat put your email so I can email you that form that I exported?
So one of the things when I was talking to Ashley that that I think would actually be really beneficial for everyone is, you know, when you're looking at your financial statements, you're looking at exactly that, the numbers, right? The finances. But what we also want to kind of figure out is the services you're providing, and if you added some, drop some, what would what could your revenue look like as well? And so when you have your profit and loss with just the revenue listed out as totals versus like the services, it's harder to kind of manipulate that. And so when I was talking to Ashley, she was able to pull up her point of sale system, and it had every item that she has for sale, how many sales she made, in that. And if you have that information, I'd like you to pull that information as well, because then we can plug that information in as well and make an even better projection. And so if in your point of sale system you have that, where you can look at all of 2024, every service that you sold, how many units you sold of it, what the individual cost is, and then what your total profit was for that service or that product, let's pull that, export that information too, because that's going to be super helpful. Just as you know, I'm pulling up all of your guys's live plan accounts, and you know, everyone's operating expenses are broken out and itemized, but our revenue isn't broken out and itemized. So I think if we can do that, that's going to be.
So I had an issue with trying to download or like export it, because what it does, it'll export all the appointments, like people's names, phone numbers, and all that stuff. Can I like I guess I want to like copy all this information and put it on another sheet, or another form so I can send it to you?
Yeah, see if you can. Obviously, we don't want to send any personal information. So yeah,
Yeah,
see
and
if
it
you
just
can
looks like
copy
it's
and
like a
paste
lot of
it.
people too at that. So,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, we don't need
sounds
that.
good.
So actually, Aubriana, would you be comfortable with me sharing your profit and loss statement and projections? Because you actually have your revenue broken out, and that's what I want everyone to do. Would you be comfortable with me sharing? She might have stepped
Sorry, I
away.
was trying to get,
Oh,
no, I was here. I was trying to, my phone wouldn't go to click. Yes, I must have did it when I was in the last class because I don't remember doing it. So I'm over here trying to get my stuff connected. So yeah, if it's there, I don't know how right it is because I'm trying to get stuff updated, but sure.
Okay. So you can go ahead and share. I just want to make sure it's clear about. Okay. Everyone can see the live plan. So when I go into edit and the revenue is broken down based off of the service. Oh, I see what's happening. Okay. So this is half right, I should say now as I'm looking. I'm assuming revenue is coming from sales made at the salon. And then you're looking into other additional revenue streams like consulting, workshop, classes, and packing. And that's where you've added those sort of things. But this total still isn't broken down per like what made up that $5,000.
No.
Okay. So everyone has a little bit of homework. Of course, we can utilize these, but I would love to have a breakdown of what is getting you to your total revenue, right? Because if you don't know, or are you still having a hard time hearing me, Tina? Is my audio not good?
I can hear you clearly.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you too.
Okay. Just saw Tina dropped in the chat that she couldn't hear me. You still can't hear me? Or no? You try talking. Yeah, I can't hear you. Fun technology. So, okay. I'm assuming that everyone has a point of sale system where they could go find the information that makes up their revenue and start working on that, or we don't even have to put it into live plan, but I do have another kind of projections exercise we can walk through, but that would be more useful than just seeing what your total revenue streams are. Just like you have your expenses broken out, I would love to see your revenue broken out. Ashley's working on that right now. Aubriana, would you be able to find what your revenue breakdown is?
No, only because I use Bank of America and Square. And I have a lot of transactions and I have a lot of expenses. And so what I was realizing, it might be more useful to try to use technology because I have QuickBooks, I just don't use it. And so oh my God. I'm just trying to get this updated because I think it might help me better than going through individually. I also hate numbers, so I'm not gonna lie, this is already stressing me out and I'm ready to log off. So that is the other part to it, because like I do have access to look at the numbers, and even with my Acuity account, which is powered through Squarespace, I can look and see what revenue I made per month and stuff like that, but it will require me to do step by step, which not that I can't do it, but I'm already kind of at the point of being over it.
Yeah. Okay. I hear you and see you, and the finances and having things speak and all of those things can be a really big pain and be overwhelming. So what I would like to do, because I want to make sure, and hi Tina, welcome back. Can you hear me now? Okay. I have a few other exercises I want to show everyone that that could help you with some of that information that you're not able to pull into live plan, or it's just not worth your time manually entering it in. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull that up. Let's just take because money and finances can be overwhelming, let's take like a 5-minute break. I can resend that article and then we'll come back. I'll show you some exercises that you can try outside of live plan as well. If you just kind of get curious and want to play with ratios of services that you sell and kind of think of the end in mind, like, okay, I want to make $200,000. This is how I'm going to get there. Because I want us really, like, at the end of the class today, I just want you to be thinking about future numbers. I can see that all of you have your current state finances in there. I want us to spend some time thinking about future as well. So
I
let's
was
just
also able to send you that the breakdown of the revenue. So I was able to send that to you
perfect. Okay.
through a Google Doc. Yep.
Wonderful. Okay, let's just come back at 7:17. Everyone just take some breath work because again, we're business owners, not accountants. We don't do what we do because we love looking at the spreadsheets, right? So go step away, take a breather, and then we'll be back at 7:17. Okay, if I can have everyone join me. He asked me to reshare the article from Live Plan about forecasting, and I thought some of it was relevant to what Aubriana just expressed, as well as, just the frustration or overwhelm that it can feel. And they called it right out in this that it can feel super overwhelming because you're trying to build a roadmap of where you want to go. But we're trying to do it. It's not going to be perfect, right? And that's like it's an estimate. Okay. So
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Are you guys saying that you're able to connect your Square accounts to your QuickBooks? Because it won't let me connect mine. And that's where most of my transactions are from. And so I'm kind of annoyed because I feel like it's irrelevant for me to use QuickBooks now because that's
So it puts it in, it won't put it in where your checking account is listed. It's in app transactions.
so I
And then,
can't link it as a bank account. I have to link it a different way, pretty
you
much.
know, I was thinking that I should be able to connect it as a bank account because I have a checking and routing number, but if we do it that way, I don't know. I haven't figured out a way to do that yet.
Okay, no worries. I'm just wondering because I heard you guys talking about it and it keeps saying it doesn't allow for Square to be connected as a bank
Not
account. So I
through that.
just was curious to see, but
Yeah,
that's
maybe not through the way of like signing in, but
okay.
I don't
That's
know if
fine.
there's a back way to do it. I've been
Okay,
trying to figure that out myself.
gotcha. Okay. I'm going to pause then because I'm going to find a different thing that will actually do my transactions for Square because that's pretty irrelevant. Okay.
Good.
On to the
Let me
next thing.
know what you
Sorry.
find.
Yeah, I'm about to get into my research.
Yeah,
I
I
will let
think
you know for sure.
I think let everyone know, because I'm really shocked that, like, part of me is,
I
I
feel like
mean,
it's the most common on my computer. It will let me and it will say connect to Square, and then I'll get to where it's like uploading transactions. It literally let me pull up and sign into Square and everything, and it keeps giving me an error message. And then when I try to do it from my phone, the message that it gives me from my phone is that Square doesn't allow. I mean that it's saying Square doesn't allow their stuff to be connected to QuickBooks. Um, it's okay. I'm gonna pause and do whatever we're trying to do. I was like, since I'm here, let me ask because my Bank of America connected,
let
but
me I'll actually email our business consultant right now that um teaches QuickBooks, and I'm going to
mhm.
ask the question.
Okay, I appreciate
And
it.
then I can circulate with all of you. So the point of sale system is Square.
Hmm.
Yeah, point of sale and invoicing. For me, anyway.
And it's just Square. It's not Square Up or
It's Square Up.
oh, it's Square
Hmm.
Up. Okay. Save yourself time doing the research. I'll have our business consultant do the research, and then I will email you all what
Okay,
he learns.
okay. Thank you. Right. I just pay for a subscription. Oh my gosh. This is why I just want to hire somebody else.
If you And I've been
Okay.
working with mine since like 2020, so I can send you her info.
The bookkeeper,
Yeah, my bookkeeper.
and you
Please
love her?
do.
She's the best. She's honestly helped me so much also with like saving money for taxes, where I went from an LLC to an S corp and I turned into an employee of my
Mm,
business versus like paying myself as a self-employed business. So she's really helped me kind of find a way around that. And like I said, I've been with her since 2020.
okay,
And yeah, she's legit. She's cool. Her name is Brittany. I can put her website in the chat so that way you guys can check
perfect.
her out.
Yep.
You can tell her I sent you. She's really
Yeah.
cool, really
Okay,
resourceful. I'm not
thank
sure
you.
if I think Women's Venture might work with her. Her name is Brittany Howard from Victory Business Solutions. I don't know if you guys know her at Women Ventures.
It's possible.
Yeah.
I don't know everyone that everyone connects with. So it's totally possible.
Oh, we already follow each other. Okay. Okay. Yes, thank you,
Yeah,
Ashley.
but
Because
I
I will be sending
100%
her.
recommend her. She'll
Okay,
get your
okay.
books in order, like she really will, and she'll make sure she can save you money anyway with taxes as well. And yeah, she's really cool. Well, and I tell you that I save taxes even from like doing my nails. I write off my manicures and like my nail because my hands because I do a lot of content with my hands and it's visible because it's up close content, so it's for marketing purposes. So
Okay.
like she's the real deal. I love
Yeah.
Okay,
her
Yeah, if it's
perfect.
What's her
relevant
website?
to like the work that you do,
that
yeah.
I'm doing. Yeah.
Did you
Victory
put her on?
My
Business Solution.
accountant wouldn't allow me to write off my nails for my business, but like again, anything that's relatable, right? Like as someone who does consulting and public speaking, I can write off certain like attire essentially, right? Like can purchase certain clothing to because it's part of my job in order to do that.
Probably do makeup and hair also.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Okay, well,
Did
I'll be
Ashley post
sending.
the website? I didn't see it.
No, I don't think she did yet. She had said
Oh,
the
okay.
name, and I was like, I know
Oh,
that
okay.
name, and it's
I'm gonna
because
look
we
it
already
up too.
follow each other.
Brittany Howard, Victory something.
Victory
She's
Business Solution.
gonna drop the
Oh,
website
okay.
in the chat as well.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I thought maybe I have, because I have no history on the chat. Maybe I don't know, did something to it.
No, no, no.
Okay. I'm just going to talk about some of the kind of going back into my computer will load. The projections that you can work on and just kind of understand them. So, and Ashley was actually able to pull some of her itemized stuff so I can show the class kind of what I'm talking about, but okay. So there's really three key financial statements that you can do projections with. And that is, and you'll see in your live plan you have these three documents as well. So you have your cash flow, your profit and loss, and your balance sheet. So all of you at this point, I'm seeing your actuals in there. So way to go. We have that. That will also help me and my staff in between class kind of look at some of your projections as well from the numbers that are currently in there. But because of the industry that you are all in, I also want us to be looking at some of the specific revenue streams that your businesses have. But you can be working on projections for any of these statements. So the cash flow, as a reminder, tracks the movement of cash in and out of your business over a specific period. Cash flow is really important to know and be aware of. And why a projection would be important too is in thinking about when you have to make specific purchases within your business, you want to make sure that you have enough cash on hand to be able to make purchases, pay yourself, pay staff, right? And so being able to kind of create projections around that too of what you want the future of your business to look like. Profit and loss statement is where we started working tonight. Summarizes the business's revenue and expenses, the profit and loss, right, over a specific period. We've been looking at it year over year. And then the balance sheet, the snapshot of a business's financial position at a specific point in time. I always like our CFO always says like this is like a picture, like a frozen in time picture. And it shows what the company owes, and what the owner equity is. And so these are more about, you know, when you start your forecast for these different financial statements, why it matters. So when it comes to cash flow, why it matters is you want to make sure that you have enough money to cover your expenses, right? Also, it indicates a pattern of your cash flow and supports planning over time. Why should we forecast it? It helps you predict future cash flow needs, improves decision making, allows planning for seasonal fluctuation, life changing, like life happening or business circumstances. When you forecast your cash flow, you can adjust the following categories to the forecast. The cash flow statement for 2025 and 2026 in the financial tables into LivePlan. So just two things to remember here as well. Accounts receivable equals money in, and accounts payable money out. Another thing, if you do choose to work on projections within LivePlan, make sure to utilize the LivePlan support and AI and the help to also kind of be guided with the projections. When you're inputting your profits and losses, when you're working on that, this is what I kind of want to talk to you all about too in some of the Google sheet that I have, because when it comes to the revenue streams, that's where most of you don't have it itemized right now within QuickBooks. And we've figured out the problem because most of you are using Square and that is not syncing to your QuickBooks. So we can't actually see the itemized revenue streams. And in order to really make a good projection on your businesses, we want to see that. You have your costs and your expenses itemized though. So those are all great. That's coming with your QuickBooks. So we can take that information from what's in LivePlan. So to summarize, the costs and expenses are there in your LivePlan synced from QuickBooks, but I'm not seeing the revenue streams. So we'll work on that. And then in inputting your balance sheet, again, the balance sheet is kind of that snapshot in time. And when you go to kind of forecast your 2025, 2026, you're going to be looking at your assets, liabilities, financing, and taxes. And so thinking of future equipment, money that you're going to be owed, financing, and then, of course, your taxes that you will owe based off of the legal entity structure that you have for your business. And Ashley dropped her accountant bookkeeping person in the chat. So I think one thing I want to stress is, as a business owner, and this is me too, like as a business owner, I outsource my accounting and my bookkeeping. And so a lot of times I am asking an accountant or bookkeeper to do these things for my businesses. At Women Venture, I work with our CFO and our accountants to do these things too. So what I would express is that it's important to know enough to be able to ask a bookkeeper or hire a bookkeeper, ask an accountant, ask a CFO good questions, and understand how to make good decisions with your business by looking at it. But if this is an area that this is a great area to delegate out as a business owner as well. But it's important to know enough, right? Like you have to be educated enough to ask good questions. And so some of this stuff, it's like the millionth time I'm hearing it, and there's still certain things where I'm like, okay, what's that one again? So just make sure to give yourself grace, but then also, do continue to learn these things and learn your numbers. So even if you are outsourcing this sort of work, you're able to be like, yep, that does look right, or let me ask more about that. So what I would like to do is hear from all of you of where you see your business growing from. So I've had the opportunity in this class to see all of your current states of kind of where you are. And I'm curious about where you hope to grow. You can choose to share that with the group. You can choose to share it privately with me, or you don't have to share it all, but kind of curious about your anticipated growth. And if you also have a number, don't be afraid to say it out loud. I think especially women business owners, we're always afraid of like saying a number out loud of what we hope we can get our revenue to. But I want to break that stigma, and I feel like we should be talking about it. And then when I show the last projection activity of the night, I also have a better picture of kind of where you hope to go from where you currently are. So I'll stop there. Does anyone want to share?
If we want to share where we want to be financially in our future.
Yeah, and like kind of where you see your business going and growing financially. And if you have kind of what that number looks like, and if you also have some of the operational things that it would take to get there. So maybe it's like, I have to hire someone because I'm one person and I can't grow, or I don't actually want to grow staff. I just want to identify the services that are going to get me to this amount because this is all I care to make, and I'm cool with that. I don't want to manage people. So I'm just kind of curious of, and everyone's going to have different goals, and neither right nor wrong, but that's kind of what I'm curious about.
So for me, I saw my projection for 2025 was supposed to be like 130, 135K, but I see myself making about, I think if I really put in the work, I could probably hit like 200K, just because I do already offer like in-person classes, and I feel like I'm at a point where I want to expand online to online courses, so like reselling something that I already have made. So I do see myself like going on to like online sales as well, and I feel like I can do it. It's just finding the right resources and hiring the right people to help me like get that together. Also, I see it coming too from like doing a price raise with those services that I have the most bookings for, but also take up the most time and like I get paid the least for. So
Yeah.
I see that 200K and I see it close. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think one of the big things is, so are you okay if I share your itemized service list that you shared with me?
Yeah. Yep, that's fine.
So kind of using Ashley's business as an example, these are the current services that she's offering. So it's a itemized breakdown of the service, what the service costs, the units that she sold, and then the total revenue, right, from each unit sold. So the goal then is to look at these things and create a projection around, okay, so I'm going to pull out the things that I'm making the most money on. And maybe, you know, for some business owners, they like to look at what am I making the biggest return on, and what is the thing I love to do the most? Because sometimes the thing that you love to do the most isn't the thing that makes you the most money. And as a business owner, you have to decide kind of like what you want to essentially cut, keep, combine, grow. And so it might actually be something where you look to see like I could actually downsize, because if I'm doing all of these, then I can't, you know, if I'm one person, I need to think about how to spend my time wisely. And so taking these things and kind of playing around with like, what are the things you absolutely want to do? And then bring it into this essentially possibilities matrix that I'm going to send all of you. And so maybe you start with, okay, I'm going to for sure keep, let's see, we already talked about eyebrow threading for return clients. Eyebrow threading is your number one income driver. And so obviously we want to keep that as one of the offerings. And then you can start to play around with, okay, well, how many would I have to spend, or how many would I have to sell per year in order to hit that revenue goal of 200,000? And so when I send you guys this table, you'll be able to manipulate it based on your business. And so if Ashley's revenue goal is 200, she'll type in 200 here, and then we'll start to change the offerings to her business and all of that. So you can kind of play around with what services you need to sell in order to get to your revenue goal. That can then show you a realistic path of like, okay, I need to sell X amount of this. Now I'm going to build my marketing plan around that, my sales plan around that. I'm dropping these other things and just focusing on these things. Or, you know, and it just helps you get really clear on what you're going to focus on selling in order to hit that. And so I'm going to send all of you your own little chart like this tonight too, so you can kind of play around with it as well. This seems more like fun if finances can be fun, but like I think these charts too, when you've been in live plan, it can start to feel overwhelming. So this can start to feel fun, and just kind of easier. Does anyone have any questions about this? I just need to take one break real quick. Okay, sorry about that. Sometimes juggling, teaching with my son told me that the toilet was overflowing, and it indeed was. Momhood, yay. So thank you for that, and your patience as I stepped away to address that. Okay, so bringing us back to the projections that we can kind of play around with the services that you're all providing. I have Ashley's kind of revenue goal, and curious if Tina or Aubriana want to share kind of where your goals are.
Um, well, hopefully I'll be doing full-time. Because right now I just work on the weekends and then like occasionally during the week and very limited hours at that. So I'm hoping I'll be able to at a minimum double what my revenue will be this year.
And then long-term, Tina, do you hope to run the business full-time? Is that like your long-term dream?
Yes, my long-term dream is for me to be able to run the business full-time and for it to be more of a like opening up a storefront. I want to be able to eventually, come in to mentor and teach and less actually doing the services, but maybe like doing the services for like my favorite events of the, I can pick and choose what events I work.
Yeah, I love that. Question. What would your revenue have to be in order to step away and run the business, like move away from whatever else you're doing and run the business full time?
Whatever it would be, it would have to cover daycare.
And you'd want it to cover more than daycare. Daycare is a huge
Yeah.
expense, obviously, but
Yeah.
We're thinking, a salary for you, covering your livelihood, the expenses you have in your life, the expenses that you have in your business. I think that's always think about that. You can share it with me privately too, but as we kind
Probably
of
200.
okay.
I think 200K a year would make it so I could run my business comfortably full time and really focus on like the best parts of my business.
And you remind me, Tina, do you have the ability to kind of pull that same revenue breakdown, kind of like Ashley did?
Mhm.
Okay.
I do. Yeah, I just don't know how. I think I may have missed how to put that into Life Plan.
So if you pull it and email it to me, that's what Ashley did, then I'll take it and kind of help build this like little projection activity for you.
Okay.
And I'll just move my email back up again. And I have all of your emails, so I'll be able to email you. And how about you, Aubriana?
If I were to have a number, I would say maybe like 250,000. Right now, I'm not gonna say I live uncomfortably. I think I just work a lot for the number that I hit. My big goal is to completely have an exit strategy because I don't want to be behind the chair at all. And even when
Yeah.
I built out my salon, I had the mindset of like, I'm doing this to potentially pass it on, staff it. the more I'm in class, I'm realizing that I really love starting businesses. You know, those people who like start businesses and literally sell them because they're not attached to them. That's me. I
Yeah.
know I'm a visionary and I have the drive to build stuff. I don't actually want to do the work. But I do know
Mhm.
that there's people who are, willing, and not like lower in a bad way, but like somebody where it's like, no, I actually actively like want to do that. And I've
Yeah.
definitely been that person before. I'm just not there anymore. And so in my head, I'm like 250K, but somehow I feel like that's not enough either. My big goal, just shooting for the stars, is like I want to hit like my first million between like actually physically doing hair and then creating like the online like courses.
Mm-hmm.
I keep kind of hitting around that 100,000 to 150,000, which is actually really good because it's just me.
Yeah.
But I just know if I ran stuff differently, promoted differently, I
Yeah.
could hit more. So that's kind of like my big girl dreams of like
Yeah.
make a million and make a million with having to be minimally in the salon.
Mhm.
I joke about hanging it up. I do really love doing hair. And so I think I'd be one of those people where like I pop in once a month for people who have been loyal. And other than
Yeah.
that, just letting, like, literally, like, I want to train people and funnel all my clients. So, you know how some people are like, I want to keep my clients. I really don't even want to, I want to keep them within the curl district and like my stratosphere that I've created, but I don't, I'm completely at like, I want to figure out an exit strategy.
Yeah.
And I've only been open storefront 6 months, but that's just kind of how I am, where, yeah.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean a lot of entrepreneurs have that like serial entrepreneur mindset where like their their drive and hunger comes from the like ideation phase and getting it off the ground and like up
yeah.
and running, and then they want someone else to like do operations. And I'm very much like you. I'm a visionary where like I like to start projects, I like to open stuff and get it on a good trajectory and solve a bunch of problems and then go on to the next thing. So
Yeah.
um, follow-up
And I
question.
guess 150, if I didn't have to work, wouldn't be a bad number. You know what I mean? Like if I could just make 150 as a business owner, I know I'd live comfortably.
Mhm.
But yeah.
Yeah. Um, when a follow-up question, when you say exit strategy, I think of two things. I think of you, one strategy is like literally selling the business and
Hmm.
everything that comes with it.
Hmm.
Another exit strategy is that you are the business owner, but you are not the person, running the day-to-day operations and doing hair.
Yep.
Which one is more appealing to you, or do you kind of want to start looking at what would either of those trajectories look like and what would the end result be?
I'm kind of at a both place because I guess it's a little different. Some people they build a business and it's their baby. I think in the back of my head, I'm like, I know that I can have more kids if that like, and so I've thought about what it would look like to completely just sell the complete like business, what I built, the structure, and like if I decide to do it again because I've done it knowing that I can do it again. I've also heavily just thought about like exit strategy being the second option of just
Yeah.
being like the CEO. My only thing is I'm not too sure that I want to deal with people.
Yeah.
Almost like a ghost. Like I literally have thought about like making businesses and just being like the ghost creator and then like letting people go about their business. Because even being the CEO or like, being the owner, it still comes with the overhead. And then now I have to trust that everybody under me is still operating it how I visioned it. And the only person you really have control over is yourself. So that's just where I'm at. I've managed before, but I've never like directly trained or employed. And so I guess I kind of have to dip my toes in to know which of the two options.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so
I think that,
I'm 50-50.
yeah, that would be like a good milestone too, is kind of like, and this isn't just for Aubriana either. Like I want all of you thinking about, even if you're not on the same kind of like faster trajectory of an exit plan at some point, you'll want to retire. At some point, maybe you want an exit plan. So also thinking about, how do I build this business today where I could turn around and sell it and make a profit, right? What would that exit plan look like? And so that could be something too, like on your milestones, is that you essentially explore both of those exit plans. Is like, what if I just become the business owner and I'm not doing the day-to-day anymore? And what would that have to look like? Or what could I actually get out of selling this business? And you're renting the space, right?
Yes, I am.
Because sometimes too, like in the full selling of a place-based business, it's harder when you're renting, because
A space.
you can't then
Just
include,
pass the lease on.
yeah,
Yeah.
makes it more complicated. But we can part of your plan too could be looking and having a few consultations with business realtors, essentially, to be like, what do I even need to do? Like, what does that package look like in order to
Yeah,
sell a business, right?
right. Yeah.
Okay. So, wonderful. Oh, it's so exciting. I should have started class asking you this question, and that would have filled our cups a little bit more. But so just some final to-dos and wrap-ups. So continue for what you feel it's worth. Continue working in live plan. My team, the business consultants, have been like going in and reviewing what you're putting into live plan. They'll continue to do that. Again, take the feedback that you like and implement it. If it's not aligned with kind of where you see the business going, throw out the feedback. But if you could, sooner rather than later, email me those itemized revenue streams that you're able to pull from your point of sale system. My email's in the chat. So email that to me. If you can just like export it in like a CSV file or some sort of spreadsheet, then I can take that, add it to basically a Google table that then you can start like plugging and playing. Like, okay, if I want to make $200,000, what do I need to do? And you can start to play around and create those projections. And so, yeah, so the to-dos are for you to email Emily. Ashley, you're done, so you don't have to do anything at this point. Email me your itemized breakdown of revenue. And then I will email you back with kind of that table and the breakdown. Your other to do is just keep working in live plan, keep learning about kind of the financial statements and projections, maybe kind of watch some of those videos live plan allows for. Just keep getting familiar with your numbers. So those are the to-dos for tonight's class. Any questions, discussion points, or thoughts? And how are we feeling? Like, let's do a temp check. I know, like, at the start of the hour, we're all, this stuff I hate. But how are we doing?
Well, I'm feeling better at like possibly getting some like real feedback on like my numbers and getting them put in and understanding where my main income is coming in now, and then also to like learning how to I am excited to learn more, but now that I have a little bit of a better understanding of the life plan, but I'm looking forward to learning more about it, and then like actually applying it to figure out numbers and then like project on certain things too.
Yeah. Yeah, it actually becomes pretty fun. I mean, and then you can apply it in all areas of life as well.
I was saying still overwhelmed, but nothing that a good night's sleep won't ease off. Um, and just stepping away from it. But yeah, I don't feel horrible, but I wouldn't be being transparent if I was like, oh, I just feel great now. No, I'm still trying to figure out why my stuff won't upload. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I hear that. And I appreciate the transparency too.
I feel like for me, it was cool to see the numbers and for it to make sense. Like that 200,000 doesn't seem too far away now. Like now that I
No.
visually see it, I'm like, oh, okay, that doesn't seem too far away. I could just change, these different things. I can up the price on these services. I can offer, this, but like virtually online and resell
Mhm.
something that I already have pre-recorded or pre-made. There's a lot of things too where I can move on to like online and it can just be working for me versus me doing the work. So it's working smarter, not harder. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, like this really, it opened my eyes. Although it was a little overwhelming, but then I got excited with the numbers, and then now it's just knowing, okay, like how do I market this stuff to bring in sales and attract people? So that's where I'm at with it now.
Exactly. And I think too,
Yeah.
actually, one thing to think about too is like now that you see your numbers too, spend some time in the expense area too, because as you know, like a lot of times the more efficient you get, or there's certain things that you can like set it and forget it, right? You're not having those expenses, so like your income's going up and your expenses are going down as well. So also make sure to spend some time um where you're looking to make sure, like, am I spending things that are necessary to make this profit, or do I have some unnecessary spending or some unnecessary spending habits going on in my business too? Or when you get also really lasered in on the services that you want to provide, then you can kind of eliminate where you're purchasing. Maybe you don't need certain products. You don't have to take out certain ads for that, or space. And so I think like they can both exist. We can start to see income go up and that go down. But I'm excited that you're excited too, because it is like the visualization tool of when things start to connect, right? And you start to be like, I think all of you should feel really proud. I think this is our like 4th launched and growing cohort, and universally the financial topics, people feel like overwhelmed or like start to learn where some of the things aren't speaking to each other, or like, oh, QuickBooks is only telling me a certain piece of the picture and I should be looking at things more itemized and broken down. And but I want you all to be proud, because like we have some of you working full-time on the business, some of you working part-time on the business, and you all are doing a really great job. And like now that you can start to see these numbers too, it's going to be clear to see like where you want to go. And I think the goals that you all expressed to me are all achievable. And so I'm excited to receive your kind of revenue actuals and send you this little Google activity too. And yeah, I'm excited that there's excitement. Overwhelm is totally part of it as well. But we're here too to kind of help keep demystifying some of this with you and building kind of the plan to then like make these things happen. And you all learn so much from each other too. I mean, Ashley sharing her accountant tonight, right? And just being able to talk about, you all have this pain point with Square Up, and I think keep learning from other business owners too and sharing. But I'm just proud of you, and just even like in two classes, just kind of the progress that I've seen you make and thinking more expansively about the business, because you're all doing really great things right now. Just proud of you. Just proud of you. If no one told you that today, I am proud of you, and you're doing awesome. And
Thank
I'm
you.
over here with an overflowing toilet. So you're all doing better than me right now. All right. So next session, you're gonna kind of keep looking at everything that you're putting in and kind of putting onto paper and live plan. and start to learn how to set milestones. So, you know, you know, with some of these projections or future goals you have, like, what are the milestones that I need to do to make that happen? So if 200,000 is my revenue goal, how do I work backwards? What do I need to do? Like, you know, first it's like, I need to figure out and get really clear on my services and my pricing. And then I need to go sell 50 of this service and, you know, and 20 of this service. And this is how I'm going to do that. And you're going to create milestones of things that you want to measure and track in your business. So, you know, great measurable is always something that is something that you can actually track. Like, you know, I want to sell 50 of this product. That's something you can easily track, and you want it to be, you know, measurable, relevant, timely. And so you'll be working on kind of setting those metrics. And then that's really like your roadmap. So it's like, if I'm hitting these, this is like my roadmap to keep moving the business forward in the direction that I want to go in. And it starts to make all of these things, the SWOT and the sales and the financials, it starts to map it all out into like an actual plan now. So that is what I have for you this evening. Any other questions, discussions, or thoughts?
If we use another platform besides QuickBooks, does LivePlan sync with that too, or?
LivePlan only syncs with, let me get in it, QuickBooks and Xero, spelt Xero.
Okay.
So those are the two that sync with LivePlan. Otherwise, otherwise you have to do like manually entering things. I don't know.
So if we were to like, also, is Women Venture just for Minnesota businesses?
So that's a great question. And it's not a straightforward answer. So anyone, anywhere can take our training courses. So this Launched and Growing course, anyone can register for it. It's just, if you're outside of our service region, then someone might not qualify for like the scholarships that we can provide with our programs. They would just have to pay full price for the training program. But when it comes to our business loans, we have a handful of business loans that we can only provide in a 16 county region, kind of around the Twin Cities and 2 counties into Wisconsin. And then if you're in the childcare business or food business, we can actually serve all of Minnesota because of how some of our funding works. So in the simplest terms, our training courses like Launched and Growing, anyone, anywhere can register and take them, and we can serve anyone. But with our business loans, then that is location based.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you all for your time tonight. Go give yourself a little treat for spending time working on your business and, you know, investing in yourself, and making space for yourself to carve out what you want for your life. I think that takes a lot of like bravery and courage, and I just think it's kick-ass. So yeah, go celebrate yourself. Because yeah, you're taking up the space to be able to execute and grow your businesses. And it also takes a lot because you've worked all day too, and and you got families to take care of and yourself to take care of. So make sure to go give yourself like a little reward. And then you all have my email address as well if you have any questions. Over the next 2 weeks, my team will be working with you. I'm actually going to be out of the office for 2 weeks. But I have an amazing team that are going to continue supporting you. They're all tuned in on what's going on. So you're in great hands. But keep questions coming to me or to training as well. The training at womenventure.org. Keep working on the live plan accounts, and we will see you next week.
Oh, one
Sounds
more
good.
question.
Thank
Oh.
you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, so are you the person that we would email if we have financial questions regarding life plan and I mean like according to the class, not like actually how to use life plan, but
Yeah, you can, if you have specific questions this week, Tina, just shoot me an email. And then you can also always like just include my email and training at. So if you happen to send it and I'm out of office, someone else on my team will see it and be able to help you.
okay.
So yeah.
Mhm.
All
Thank
right. Well, keep up the good work, Tina.
Thanks.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.